This is a question in context here. The setup is, I mean, if you look at the curve of the cable there on the bridge, it's basically the shape of a parabola, which is why we can use the square root to then determine, basically what it's saying is your distance from the middle using this formula is going to then tell you how high the cable is above where you're at. So what we're going to do is use, well, the question is asking how high is the cable when you're 200 feet from the middle of the bridge. So the first thing we're going to do is substitute that 200 in for x. No, actually not. They're going to solve for y first, which is fine. I mean, you have these types of questions, you have two options. You can either substitute the 200 in for x and then solve for y, or just solve for y and then substitute the 200 in for x. All right, so they're going to substitute at the end, which is fine. First thing is to multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator there. Now that you have the square root isolated, you're going to square both sides. And then you're going to add 220 to both sides. And then they're substituting the 200 in for x and getting 224.48. All right. So the cable is about 224 feet above. We're just rounding to the nearest foot. All right, so let's look at the next question here. All right, totally different setup. The speed v of a vehicle in relation to its stopping distance, d, is represented by that equation, which makes sense. Those of you that are going to be driving soon, the faster you're going, the longer it's going to take you to stop your car. And I mean, that just seems logical, right? So what is the equation for the stopping distance in terms of the vehicle's speed? So in this case, you're just going to take this equation and solve it for d, and not actually substitute anything in context. All right, so why don't you try that? So pause it, try it, and then come back and check. So the distance from which you would need to have to stop your car, well, I guess it says vehicle, is whatever the speed is. So the velocity divided by 3.57, then squared. All right, so then let's check out example 3.